The following is a production of Hometown and Home Country Radio Sports.
Chafe winds, payoff pitch. Cold strike free. Bishop Garrigan's on to the next round. Peterson flies the one towards fairly deep right field. That one's going to be over everyone's head for a base hit. Coming home to score is Bodie. Peterson on her way to second base, and she slides in safely. Hold that bag, Molly Peterson. It's 1-0 Bishop Garrigan. Hard ground ball down the third base line, fair. Hoagland coming around third base. She will score easily. RBI single by Hannah Marin. 1-0 pitch. Marin flies that one in the air, medium deep left field. Beckman going back on it. Beckman near the fence. That ball is going to carry out of here. Hannah Marin, solo home run. The Gold Bears go up 3-2. She got that one into the jet stream, and it carried and carried and carried.
Video streaming on the Algona Radio YouTube channel is brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities, community owned for community benefit. Kemna Auto Center, where it's not just about the car, it's about the care. Iowa State Bank, helping people succeed. PMC Advantage Insurance Services, having the advantage makes all the difference. And Algona Frame and Auto Body, we meet by accident. Now, here's Hometown and Home Country Radio Sports Director, Tyler Lance.
Live here in West Bend, Iowa, it's high school softball on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. As tonight, we'll see a matchup that we haven't seen at the varsity level since the 2021 season. The Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears visiting the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines. Good evening once again, everyone. I'm Tyler Lance with you here tonight as we're about 5 minutes away from the first pitch in this one. Bishop Garrigan last night with a thrilling 18-14 win over Garner-Hayfield Ventura. It was the exact kind of game that the Golden Bears may have to win throughout the course of this season, relying on that veteran and experienced offense to produce runs, and it did just enough last night to pick up that win and improve their record to 2-3. They are facing West Bend-Mallard now for the first time since the 2021 season. The Wolverines not fielding a varsity team the past 3 years, but they've got enough players out. They're fielding a varsity team this year, and they're off to a 1-2 start. In fact, opened up the season with a win against South Central Calhoun, but have dropped back-to-back games, including a 6-1 loss against Storm Lake St. Mary's last night, in which the Wolverines only generated one hit. But they'll try to get the offense going here against the Bishop Garrigan pitching staff tonight on a rainy and dreary night here in West Bend, Iowa. A light rain is falling outside. It's cloudy, and we expect rain to be a factor throughout the course of the game, but it is a light rain, so the field conditions are still relatively good outside. We don't expect it to get a whole lot worse as far as the rain is concerned either, so we're good to play here tonight. It'll be a sparse crowd, so we appreciate everyone tuning in here on the radio and on the video stream online as well, as it's not the best conditions outside for a game, but these players are going to power through tonight out of the Ray. Always good to see these two neighbors match up, West Bend-Mallard out of the Twin Lakes Conference and Bishop Garrigan out of the top of Iowa West Conference, and again, the first varsity meeting between these teams since the 2021 season when the current seniors were still in 8th grade. We'll take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's game. For the visiting Golden Bears, it'll be the center fielder Alyssa Hoagland leading things off. Jenna Peterson bats second and plays right field. Zoe Montag at first base hitting third. Hannah Marin, the third baseman, batting cleanup. Carly Nielsen, designated player, will bat fifth. Brooklyn Birdie does the pitching, hitting sixth. Molly Peterson at second base, batting seventh. Shiloh Trainer behind the dish, hitting eighth. Lily Erpeling-Wickman, she will play shortstop and bat ninth. And Emma Garman is in the flex as she is playing left field for tonight. For the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines, they are led by their pitcher, Layla Cromer, batting leadoff. Avery Widers, the shortstop, batting second. Morgan Meyer at second base, hitting third. Ashton Ballig in center field as she is batting fourth. Leah Hoffman hitting fifth and playing third base. Reese Benjamin behind the dish, batting sixth. Faith Landolt in right field, hitting seventh. McKenna Cromer, the designated player, batting eighth. Olivia Dickey in left field, batting ninth. And Lily Hoover, the first baseman, at the flex position for tonight. Golden Bears and the Wolverines set to go here in just a couple of minutes. Lineups being introduced on the field right now. And with that, we'll step aside for a quick timeout. When we come back, first pitch between West Bend-Mallard and Bishop Garrigan on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
More sports club members.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for health care.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
Reeves Wicked Good Bar and Grill, for wicked good food, drinks, and service, you gotta go to Reeves.
High Point Land Company, your trusted land partner in Algona.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
CB Grain Solutions, satisfaction guaranteed.
Dump It, Kasuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers.
Albert Electric, flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Billy Offerman, your State Farm agent in Algona. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Greg Penning and Company, certified public accountants where everyone counts.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Signworks Inc. For all your signage needs and printed apparel, stop in or call 295-9544.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
All sponsors of this game broadcast. High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
American Glass, for all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Daniel Foth, and Michael Toll.
Chemco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
Wykirk Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
Glenn's Green Thumb, from a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Coach Purdy, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Softball on KLGA.
It's the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears visiting the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines here on Hometown Radio KLGA Algona, as the Wolverines, the home team here tonight, taking the field behind their starting pitcher for tonight, Layla Cromer. Cromer, the right-handed junior, has pitched in all 3 games this season, 3 of them starts. Her record 1-2. Cromer has thrown 16 innings to the tune of a .394 ERA. She has struck out 20 batters and walked 19. She's allowed 15 hits, the opponent's batting .163 against Cromer, but she has not been helped out by the defense. Cromer has given up 30 runs in those 16 innings, but only 9 out of those 30 runs have been earned. So a key here tonight for the Wolverines will be tightening up a little bit defensively behind their starting pitcher, Layla Cromer. Now, Cromer pitched extremely well yesterday against Storm Lake St. Mary's in that Wolverine 6-1 loss. She struck out 12 batters and only gave up a couple of hits, but again, 5 out of those 6 runs unearned. So defense, a huge factor tonight for the Wolverines. Starting things off, it'll be Alyssa Hoagland, Jenna Peterson, and Zoe Montag for Bishop Garrigan here in West Bend on a drizzly night. It's going to be a light rain here pretty much all throughout the game. 71 degrees and overcast skies here at the time of the first pitch, and a light breeze blowing out towards left center field, but not really a whole lot there to be a factor. So really the biggest factor is the rain, and does the ball get slippery? Does the field get a little bit mucky throughout the game? It is a light rain, but it is something you're still going to notice if you're down there on the field as a player. Both teams wearing white uniform tops. Bishop Garrigan has the black pants, black high socks, the black bears on the front of the uniform underlined and outlined in yellow. It's the black numerals on the front of the jersey and on the back outlined in yellow as well. West Bend-Mallard, purple high socks, black pants, white jersey tops with the vertical pinstripes. Wolverines written on the front in purple and outlined in yellow. Cromer toes the pitching rubber for tonight's first offering as we're just past the 6 o'clock hour. The right-handed junior into the motion and offers up tonight's first pitch to Hoagland, and Hoagland watches that one go in the dirt for ball 1, and we are underway here in West Bend, Iowa. Coach Purdy continues to tweak the batting order for Bishop Garrigan. You'll notice tonight Zoe Montag in the number 3 spot. She had been a fixture in those 1 and 2 spots earlier in her career for Bishop Garrigan, but adding more power this year and moving to the middle of the order as Hoagland watching and taking, as that'll be a called strike. Count evens up 1 ball and 1 strike. Defensively for West Bend-Mallard, it's Benjamin behind home plate, Hoffman at third, Weidert at shortstop, Meyer at second, and Hoover at first. It's Dickey in left, Ballig in center, and Landolt in right field as Cromer delivers. That pitch is low and in the dirt, and Hoagland works ahead in the count. 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, Hoagland and Zoe Montag both bring those left-handed bats to the Golden Bears. In fact, Golden Bears will start off with 3 lefties in a row in their batting order with Hoagland, Peterson, and Montag. Cromer brings the 2-1. Hoagland watching again as that one is just out of the zone, and the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. Both these teams have had some similar issues early in the season. Now, small sample size on both sides. The Golden Bears have just played 5 games so far for 2-3 record. Wolverines playing just 3 games so far for 1-2 record. As Cromer's 3-1 pitch, that one sails upstairs for ball 4, and Hoagland is aboard with the early walk. And it really starts in the pitching circle. Like I always say, folks, great pitching can disguise some issues on the team, but if you don't have a great pitcher out there, it's a lot harder to win as the season goes on. And both of these teams are really trying to develop young teams and young pitchers, especially. Bishop Garrigan throwing a freshman here tonight. And the Wolverines, like we mentioned, did not field a varsity team the past 3 seasons. So even though Cromer's a junior, getting that varsity action underway this season and gaining experience of what it looks like to go against some of the best hitters in the area. Cromer back aboard the rubber as Jenna Peterson steps in for Bishop Garrigan. As going to second base is Hoagland, and ball got away as Hoagland will go there safely. She'll take the turn, and she will stick right there at second base as the Golden Bears get an early runner in scoring position here with nobody out, first inning. Cromer back aboard the rubber as Hoffman is in a few steps at third base, as is the first baseman Hoover. Pitch to Peterson. There's a little flare, middle of the infield, charging in the shortstop. Sliding is Weidert, and she made the grab. Nice catch by Weidert, charging in that time for out number 1. And there's an early good defensive play made behind Cromer. One of the keys that we talked about coming into this game is Jenna Peterson, as they're tired on that little flare to short for out number 1. Here is Zoe Montag. Montag has shown a booming bat so far this year. She was a speed hitter last year, someone who slapped the ball a lot, tried to bunch sometimes. This year, unlocking some of that power potential as she will take upstairs for ball 1. Hoagland at second base. The Golden Bears had that game against Lake Mills where they hit 4 home runs. All 3 of their seniors hitting home runs in that 17-5 win on Friday night. The motion and the pitch by Cromer. And Montag takes that in the dirt. Little secondary lead by Hoagland at second base, but she's not going anywhere as that ball was nicely played behind the dish by Benjamin. The Golden Bears and the Wolverines for the first time since 2021. The last season, the Wolverines fielded a varsity team prior to this. The 2-0 pitch. Montag watching, and that one is in at the knees for a called strike, bringing the count to 2-1. The Golden Bears were victorious in that game by a final count of 12-0. Zoe Montag was an 8th grader that year as she started at first base and went 2 for 2 in that game with a couple of walks. The 2-1 pitch, there's a ground ball towards second base. It is scooped up nicely by Meyer, who throws onto first base in time for the out. Moving up to third is Hoagland, but the Golden Bears now have 2 outs and a runner at third base. So 2 away here for the middle of the order of Hannah Marin. Marin is the only other player from 2021 to appear in that game between West Bend-Mallard and Bishop Garrigan, as Marin played in that game as a courtesy runner. And speaking of power, Marin has it. She homered in the first 3 games of the season for the Golden Bears as Marin, big aggressive cut after that one, fouling it back out onto the street behind this ballpark. Well, over to our right is Coy Goodchild Field where the Wolverines play football, and over to our left, you see the Wolverine school building. A bunch of cars parked out in the parking lot as well, and some people have not left those cars in an effort to stay dry here tonight. Marin hitting up at the front of that right-handed box, that front foot on its tippy toes as the pitch is up high for a ball, and count even at 1-1 from Cromer. It's Hoagland at third base, 2 away in the Golden Bear half of the first inning. No score between Bishop Garrigan and West Bend-Mallard. Wolverines coached by Tabitha Mogler. Golden Bears under the direction of Coach Paige Purdy as that ball's in the dirt, and a nice backhanded pick behind home plate by Benjamin. He's able to pick that on the backhanded side as the count goes 2-1 here against Marin. You don't want to get too greedy here if you're Cromer. As you know, Marin can make this 2-0 in the blink of an eye if you make a mistake. The motion and the 2-1 pitch. Marin watching, the ball gets away. Here comes Hoagland, and Hoagland will score. She comes in standing at its 1-0 Golden Bears. Benjamin that time did not get down. She tried to backhand the ball once again, and she was unable to block it as the Golden Bears strike first here on the low and wild pitch. And Marin works ahead in the count 3-1. So resetting the situation, bases are now empty, 1-0 in favor of Bishop Garrigan, as there's 2 away with Cromer going back to work. Cromer motions and brings the next pitch. Marin flies that in the air. Medium deep left field as Dickey is cruising in, and she overruns the ball. It's over her head, and Marin's on her way to second base. Throw to second, not in time. Hannah Marin is in there safely for Bishop Garrigan on the first air of the night by the Wolverines. That ball is hit a mile up in the air, and on a night like tonight, you're looking up into the rain, fighting those raindrops, and as Dickey charged in, she got a little over-aggressive coming to the ball. A lot of times as a coach, you tell those outfielders, hey, get to the pop-up first and then adjust, but Dickey was not able to get there first. She had to come in at a pretty big charge, and Marin ends up at second base. So the inning continues for the Golden Bears. Runner at second of 2 outs, and a 1-0 score as Carly Nielsen digs in. Right-handed hitting junior. Corner infield stays in for West Bend-Mallard as Nielsen hits halfway up in the right-handed box. Nielsen watching, and that's a bullseye for a called strike. Marin's going to third base, throw to third, slide tag, safe at third base. What a heads-up base running play by Hannah Marin. That was a delayed steal. She did not go as the pitch crossed home plate. It looked like she left there right as the ball was being returned to the pitching circle, and West Bend-Mallard did not have Hannah Marin on the radar. So stolen base for Marin, pitch to Nielsen. Nielsen, line drive towards second base, softly hit. It's knocked down. It deflects away from Meyer. Meyer can't make the play, and everyone's going to be safe. 2-0 Bishop Garrigan. That's one of those little tweener balls. Do you wait back on it, or do you charge in? And Meyer got caught in no man's land that time as the ball went off her glove and through. Golden Bears go up 2-0. It's a simple thing sometimes in softball. You put the ball in play, you put pressure on the defense, and you force a team that had a few errors last night to make plays. As there's a wave of the miss for strike one. Brooklyn Birdie coming up empty on that last offering. Birdie, right-handed hitting pitcher, the freshman for Bishop Garrigan, liking the early run support. Golden Bears started fast last night as well, taking an early 5-0 lead over Garner Hayfield Ventura. But much like last night, 5 runs was not nearly enough to beat the Cardinals. Golden Bears eventually had to score 18 in that game to win 18-14. One would imagine 2 runs is not going to be enough here tonight either, as Birdie digs into the box. Hits about halfway up and rests that bat upon the back shoulder before lifting it up as Cromer brings the 0-2. Tried the changeup, but she pulled it outside into the backstop. Moving up to second base is Nielsen on the pitch. So another wild pitch here, and the Golden Bears will put another runner in scoring position. It is Nielsen at second base. 2 away here in the first inning, and a 2-0 score right now as Birdie bats with Peterson on deck. Cromer puts the right foot back aboard the pitching rubber. The junior's 1-2 pitch. Oh, she sailed that one to the backstop. Jogging to third base is Nielsen, who will stay right there. And the Golden Bears continue to advance here on a couple of wild offerings. Benjamin tried to spring out of that stance, but that ball may have just slipped out of Cromer's hand and gone to the backstop. Cromer trying to establish a foothold in the pitching circle. Back-to-back wild pitches have evened the count at 2-2. The pitch to Birdie. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Cromer needed that one, and the Golden Bears are done here in the first inning. Bishop Garrigan scores 2 runs as they strike first. West Bend-Mallard will bat next on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
We've got more sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Algona Frame and Auto Body. We meet by accident.
Water Connection, from softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Algona Pizza Ranch. There's so much to love.
Cotton Gray Farm Management and Land Realty, downtown Algona. Trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
Algona Livestock. Sales every Monday.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce. 2 sauces for all seasons.
All bringing you this broadcast on the radio.
Bottom half of the first inning on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream as the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines will bat here against Bishop Garrigan's starting pitcher, Brooklyn Birdie. The score right now 2-0 in favor of Bishop Garrigan as the Wolverines had trouble defensively in the first inning, opened the door for a couple of extra outs for the Golden Bears. Now the offense will try to get it back. Layla Cromer, Avery Weidert, and Morgan Meyer all due to hit this inning against Birdie. Well, Golden Bears off to a 2-3 start to the season, but they are averaging well over 10 runs per game, which that's the good news. You're averaging over 10 runs per game. You'll sign up for that any day, but to only have a 2-3 record, if that means the Golden Bears have some of the same issues the Wolverines do. They need to play sharper defensively behind Brooklyn Birdie, and the young pitching of Birdie and Rakaya Nielsen, who we may see as well, that needs to be a little sharper as well, as there's a swing and a miss by Cromer for strike 1. And that is a season-long process. These are 2 young pitchers trying to replace a very good pitcher from last year of Ella Schaaf. And you can work in the offseason, you can do everything you can, but it is a learning process as the games go on, as Birdie delivers. Cromer watches, and that's a bullseye for a called strike. 0-2. Layla Cromer so far this season for West Bend-Mallard. 2 hits in 9 at-bats. She has driven in 2 runs as Birdie works ahead in the count early. The freshman wipes the ball off and brings the 0-2 pitch. And that is down and in for a ball. 1-2 to Cromer. Defensively for Bishop Garrigan, it's Trainer behind home plate, Marin at third base, Erpelding Wickman at shortstop, Peterson at second, and Montag at first. In the outfield, it's Garman in left, Hoagland in center, and Peterson in right. Birdie's 1-2 pitch. Sailed that way up high for a ball, and the count evens now 2-2. We've seen a couple of those pitches already so far, one from each pitcher where it almost slips out of the hand and sails to the backstop well over the head of the catcher and the home plate umpire. 2-2 count. Bottom of the first here in West Bend as the pitch by Birdie. That is a ball hit on a line into left field, and it's in there for a base hit. Garmin will field it on one hop and return it to the infield as Cromer is held to the single, but starts off the inning in a good way. Wolverines have the base runner board with Layla Cromer, able to deliver there on the 2-2 count, and that'll bring Avery Weidert up to the dish. Weidert, right-handed hitting sophomore, 3 hits in it, 10 at-bats. As she will bat with 1 on here and nobody out. Meyer up next as the pitch to Weidert, and she got right after that first offering and fouled it back to the screen for strike 1. Bishop Garrigan has Marin playing a step in front of the bag at third base. Montag playing in front of the path of the base runner at first. Wolverines scored in bunches in their season opening game as they defeated South Central Calhoun in that one, 13-9. For the program's first win since 2021, reigniting the varsity program as Weidert tries to bunt, but she pulled it foul, and I think that hit her foot in the box anyways, as the count goes to 0-2. So you take out those 3 seasons they didn't play, you go back to 2021, they had a 1-20 record in that season, which means it was their first win in 1,429 days, that season opening game against South Central Calhoun. Wolverines dropped games against East Sac County and Storm Lake St. Mary's since that time, 15-0 and 6-1 respectively, as they played just 3 games so far this season. 1-2 count here from Birdie. She missed on that offering. Weidert bats, Meyer on deck. Bunt is off here of Cromer aboard first base, as Cromer does have 3 steals and 5 attempts this year. The 1-2 pitch, up and away for a ball, snap for the first base, and Cromer caught no man's land. Throw to second, slide tag, and Cromer beat the tag. Cromer beat the tag, and she advanced to second base. That's one of those plays where I don't want to say she fell asleep out there, but she wandered off of first base and did not react very quickly to trainer throwing down there. And once she was caught in between, she just committed to going to second. Instead of just standing there and getting in a rundown, she committed to second base, slammed on the gas pedal, and the Golden Bears couldn't hustle the ball over there in time. Runner at second now for the Wolverines. 2-2 to Weidert, and a wave and a miss for strike 3. Weidert is extinguished by Birdie for out number 1 of the inning, as Cromer remains at second base. Well, a couple cracks here for the Wolverines to try to respond, and those response runs are always so big. It's 2-0 right now, Bishop Garrigan, and of course you'd like to score at least 2 this inning if you're the Wolverines, but even just 1 lets the Golden Bears know, hey, we came to play here tonight. As Meyer bats, Meyer ground ball towards the right side of the infield. Peterson stays down on it and slings it to first base for the out. Big turnaround third base by Cromer, but she'll stay there as Montag fakes the throw over. So Cromer up to third base now as Peterson gets the routine ground ball out on Meyer. It is 2 away here in the first. Ashton ball-leg the center fielder batting. Ball-leg 1 for 6 on the young season with 2 runs driven in. Wolverines had just 1 base hit yesterday against Storm Lake St. Mary's, so that early base hit by Cromer was certainly a welcome sign to start the game. Birdie winds and delivers. Slow tapper third base side. Marin fields it in fair territory. Guns across the diamond. Low throw, but Montag sticks the glove underneath, and the third out is recorded. A runner stranded at third base by West Bend-Mallard, and we've played 1 from West Bend-Mallard High School. The score right now, Bishop Garrigan 2 and West Bend-Mallard 0.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Down to Earth Tree Service, your local Algona Tree Service.
Styles Salon, your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic, animals large and small. They love them all.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
All bringing you this ball game.
We've got more sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Lichter's Garage Door Service and new installations. A reputation you can trust. Call 515-295-5988.
Ed Service Station, service you can trust.
J&J Custom Meats, continuing the traditions in Whittemore.
Ulrich Construction, let them do the work.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Hannah Marin, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Softball on KLGA.
Back here for the second inning from West Bend-Mallard High School. It's Bishop Garrigan 2 and West Bend-Mallard 0, as the Golden Bears will send 7, 8, and 9 to the plate. Molly Peterson, Shiloh Trainer, and Lily Erpeling-Wickman all due to bat this inning. Peterson hit her first career home run less than a week ago against Lake Mills. In fact, it was a grand slam in that 17-5 win. The get-right game for the Golden Bears after taking it on the chin the first couple of games, as Peterson takes that one in there for a called strike, 0-1. As we said, Golden Bears are scoring well over 10 runs per game at 10.2, but they've allowed 12.4 so far, so it's been a different story on each side of the ball up to this point, but Peterson really adds that depth to the lineup. Big part of the reason why the Golden Bears have been scoring those 10 runs a game is that pitch burned in there for a strike by Cromer, working ahead at 0-2. That's the thing of your Cromer. You gave it the 2 runs in the first inning, but you've got to stay confident here. Stay ahead of the Golden Bear hitters. You know you've got a few power threats in that lineup, but that is neutralized with an 0-2 count as Peterson swings and misses for strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night from Layla Cromer as she sets Peterson down on 3 pitches for out number 1 of the inning. So Peterson retired, and Shiloh Trainer, the right-handed hitting catcher, will step in. Wolverines medium deep in left field with Dickey and Bollig in center. Landolt very shallow in right field for West Bend-Mallard. Third baseman Hoffman, and the first baseman Hoover in as well. Pitch to Trainer. That is up at eye level for a ball, 1-0 count. Trainer hits about 3/4 of the way up in that right-handed box. Right-handed hitting catcher for the Golden Bears, followed by Erpeling Wickman in the batting order, then back up top to Hoagland. Cromer back into the circle with the 1-0 pitch. Trainer with the cut and the miss. Cromer elevated that rise ball, and Trainer could not catch up as the count evens 1 ball and 1 strike. We are live here on this rainy night in West Bend as some fans are parked underneath the trees behind the first base dugout, providing a little shelter here from the drizzle. 1-1 pitch is to the backstop for a ball, and the count 1-2. Also, you see a bunch of cars parked out beyond the left field fence. That's where the school parking lot is for West Bend-Mallard High School, at least the back parking lot for the school, and some people still hanging out in the cars. The KLGA cars hanging out there as well. But I think it's far enough away that even Hannah Marin couldn't reach that with a home run, as Trainer lines that one down the left field line fair. And it's off the glove of Dickey, and it kicks into the corner, and Trainer can run for a while. Trainer into second base, takes a big turn, and she will stay right there. Shiloh Trainer just ripped that one down the left field line, got those hips through the zone, and the ball kicked off the glove of Dickey, so we'll call that a single plus an error, allowing Trainer to advance to second. And the Golden Bears have something brewing here once again in inning number 2. Runner in scoring position, only 1 away, as that'll be the second hit of the ball game for Bishop Garrigan. Number 9 hitter Lillian Erpeling Wickman coming up to the plate, as the Golden Bears will call for a courtesy runner. Avery Culbertson will go to second base, as she'll get her first action of the evening. And Erpeling Wickman in that 9-hole. That 9-hole for a couple years was occupied by Molly Peterson, but Golden Bears really don't think of it as a number 9 hitter where that's an easy out or anything of that sort. It's a number 9 hitter who is a sign of passing the baton to your leadoff hitter, and Peterson did that so well for so long, and now Erpeling Wickman, a much more dangerous number 9 hitter than most teams have, hit a home run last season, does have some extra base power, and will try to capitalize here on a runner at second base, and a 2-0 Bishop Garrigan lead. Cromer into the motion, and the pitch to Erpeling Wickman. Takes that one downstairs for a ball, 1-0 count. Erpeling Wickman hits out of a narrow but wide open right-handed stance. The sophomore wearing jersey number 27 for the Golden Bears as she digs back into the box. Actually, I upgraded her one class. The freshman digging into the box as she will loop that one in the air towards shortstop, backpedaling a couple of steps as wider to put it away, and that'll be out number 2 of the inning as Erpeling Wickman retired. So 2 away, runner at second base, as Cromer tries to work around the early base hit. And now back to the top of the order with Alyssa Hoagland. Hoagland, the left-handed hitting junior for the Golden Bears, standing in after walking her first time up. Eventually came around to score that first run as Hoagland will watch, and that one is in there for a called strike, 0-1. It does appear that after that initial walk by Cromer, she sort of opened her eyes a little bit and dialed in that control. She knew she didn't want this to be a walk fest against Bishop Garrigan. She wanted to challenge the hitters here tonight with strikes. As the 0-1 pitch, there's a little tapper back to the pitching circle. Cromer fields throw to first base in time for the out. A nice stretch by Hoover. That was a tough play by Cromer. She had to charge in. Her foot actually slipped as she was making the throw, but still got it off on target as Bishop Garrigan will strand a runner on base. So it's 2-0 Bishop Garrigan. We move now to the bottom half of 2 on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube channel.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Good Samaritan Society, Algona's senior housing and services rooted in God's love.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, Algona's locally owned coffee shop.
Tangle Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Schindler Lawn Care and Landscaping, 515-320-3840.
All bringing you this ball game.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game.
Runkey Brothers Full Service. Experience the Runkey Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
Hy-Vee. Use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East in Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprises. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Erpelding Void & Company CPAs. They're not just about taxes.
Sports club members bringing you this game.
Back here in West Bend on a very drizzly night, Bishop Garrigan on top 2-0 in the bottom of the second as the Wolverines now bat 5, 6, and 7 in the batting order as that pitch is delivered for a called strike to Leah Hoffman, the third baseman. It's Hoffman, Benjamin, and Landholt due up this inning for the Wolverines. Hoffman this season with 3 hits and 10 at-bats for the first 3 games for West Bend-Mallard. The drizzle's picked up a little bit at times, but it stayed mostly at that level so far tonight as Hoffman taps it foul at home plate and the count 0-2. Well, it's just good to see this matchup back. Bishop Garrigan at 9-2 against West Bend-Mallard, dating back to 2009. But as we mentioned earlier, the Wolverines not fielding a varsity team the last 3 years, so the matchup went on a hiatus. But these two next-door neighbors meeting up once again as the 0-2 pitch, way up high for a ball, 1-2. Wolverines leading into that hiatus had a 6-48 record in the 3 years leading up, and then just didn't have the varsity players or experience needed to field a team the past 3 years. But it is just great to see them back out there of a varsity team this season. As the windup and the pitch by Birdie. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Birdie able to fan Hoffman for a second K of the ball game as that is out number 1 in the bottom of the second. Reese Benjamin now stepping in. The 8th grade catcher tonight for the Wolverines. She has recorded 2 base hits so far this season, 2 for 8 at the plate. But point being, more opportunities for high school athletes are always a good thing. You just hate to see the fact that the Wolverines had almost a full 4 years, 3 years, so almost a full class of people going for the school without having a varsity softball team. There's a little floater towards second base. Peterson takes a couple of steps in, and she catches the pop for out number 2. A quick 2-up, 2-down for West Bend-Mallard here in the second. But the varsity team is back for the Wolverines and off to a 1-2 start to the season. And even this year, they don't have overwhelming numbers by any means on the roster, just 11 players, but enough here to start working back into varsity and really developing a team once again. The wind in the first pitch is upstairs for a ball to Faith Landholt for ball 1. Landholt, no hits in 3 at-bats so far this season. Left-handed hitting 8th grader. Wolverines without a senior on the roster, so it's inexperienced, but it's inexperienced no matter what, just with the team only playing JV the past few years. Landholt choked well up on that left-handed bat. Holds the bat vertically in front of that back shoulder as Landholt got caught in between that time. Took a little half swing there and went after that ball as the count evens 1-1. Birdie had her fooled on that offering. But you go back about 15 years, the Wolverines had a nice stretch of winning 20-plus games year in and year out before falling on harder times. 1-1 count as that pitch is in there for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A couple of years ago, Belmont Clemmie's baseball team was in a similar situation. They had a couple of years of no varsity program and then brought it back, and there were some growing pains year 1, but now here in year 3 for Belmont Clemmie, they're trying to develop a little bit and be more competitive on a nightly basis. As we said, it's a multi-year process whenever you're bringing a varsity team back, but it's just good to see the high schoolers getting an opportunity here to play varsity softball. 2-2 count. Birdie looking for a 1-2-3 inning. There's a slow roller towards the left side, picked up by Erpelding Wickman, guns it to first. Big stretch by Montag as the throw is in time for the out. The West Bend-Mallard Wolverines do go down 1-2-3. A nice inning worked by Brooklyn Birdie, and the score stays 2-0 Bishop Garrigan on 92.7 KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
Farmers State Bank is proud to be part of our community. Offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Bill's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services, celebrating a life lived.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bankin at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Zoe Montag, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Softball on KLGA.
Jenna Peterson 0 for 1 today. She digs into the box to start off the Bishop Garrigan half of the third inning. It's Bishop Garrigan 2, West Bend-Mallard nothing here from West Bend-Mallard High School. As we are up in that third base press box, the brand new press box constructed this year, as the Wolverines go back to work here with Cromer on the mound, or in the circle that is. The 1-0 pitch. That one bends Peterson back, inside for a ball, 2-0 count. Well, Cromer must not have liked the grip she was getting on the softball, because she now has a purple towel in that back pocket that she can use to wipe off that hand in between pitches, as we do have a light rain still falling, and that will probably be the case for the rest of tonight. The 2-0 pitch. Peterson watching, and that is up at eye level for a ball, 3-0 count. Jenna Peterson to be followed by Zoe Montag and Hannah Mayer in this inning for the Golden Bears, who scored 2 in the first, and that's been all the scoring so far tonight as we play in the top of the third inning. Back onto the rubber, Cromer with the 3-0 pitch, and she bowled that one in there for ball 4. It skipped off the plate, and Peterson aboard with a 4-pitch walk, the second walk of tonight issued by Cromer. So now the Golden Bears head for the middle of the batting order of Zoe Montag, who grounded out the second base her first time up, 0 for 1 tonight. Wolverines will pinch in at the corners here for their infield. Well, folks, we don't have our fearless color commentator for us tonight, Beanie Bodie, as he couldn't make it out to this one. Cromer back onto the pitching rubber. Here's the motion and the pitch. And that one is in there for a ball. Trying to go to second base is Peterson, and she will slide in there safely. That pitch was in the dirt, so Peterson able to advance on that one. Cromer has thrown a lot of strikes here tonight, just 2 walks, but a few wild pitches here really allowed the Golden Bears to advance on the base paths and create scoring opportunities. It's a 1-0 count right now on the left-handed hitting Montag, batting out of an open stance. Montag looked like she wanted to slap bunt that time, took a couple of steps forward, but watch that pitch go for a ball, and it's a 2-0 count. And all of a sudden, even though Cromer has that towel in her back pocket now, she has lost control of the zone here to start the third inning. 2-0 count, Cromer with the pitch. Montag swinging and slicing it foul right over us in the press box as the count goes to 2-1. So Montag followed by Marin in the batting order. Then Nielsen, should the Golden Bears get that far, as there's nobody out and a runner at second, with a 2-1 count on Zoe Montag. Flag very limp out there in center. Not much of a breeze here tonight for the rain falling straight down, which is nice because the press box window can stay open and we don't have to worry about the rain blowing in here tonight. Montag watches that pitch go, and the count now 3-1 on the Bishop Garrigan senior. Like I was saying earlier, we couldn't have our color commentator with us tonight, Beanie Bodie. Hopefully we'll have him back later in the season. I actually told Beanie that West Bend-Mallard was hosting the game tonight. As the pitch to Montag, hit into the middle of the infield, charged at shortstop by Weidert, and she overran it. It's into the shallow outfield. Coming around third is Peterson, and she'll score. The Wolverines overrun the ball once again. Weidert was trying to get to that ball, but it took a funny spin there off the dirt as it bounced. It had a lot of English on it, and it got through as Bishop Garrigan takes a 3-0 lead on that little flare to the middle of the infield by Zoe Montag. So still nobody out, and Montag at first as Peterson with a good aggressive base running comes around from second. So here's Hannah Marin, reached on an error by the left fielder her first time up. But I told Beanie here that West Bend-Mallard was hosting the game tonight, and he got a little confused. That pitch skips in, and it hits Marin. It hit Marin on the front leg, so the Golden Bears will put runners at first and second base. He was confused, and he went to the town of Mallard instead of here in West Bend. In fact, the last thing any passerbyers saw was Beanie Bodie circling aimlessly through the town of Mallard. In fact, he even climbed atop the big Mallard duck sculpture looking for the softball field. Now, normally that kind of behavior would get you arrested, but I haven't heard any calls from Beanie, surprisingly, as everyone usually gets one phone call in that situation. Pitch to Marin, line foul into the Garrigan dugout. Look out over there as Emma Garman nearly got taken out, sitting on one of those buckets right in the entrance of the dugout, but that ball nearly took her out as she got out of the way. But don't worry, folks, Beanie is the friendliest duck of them all. I'm sure he was able to talk his way out of it with the law enforcement officers there in Mallard, and they will let him off with a warning this time. It's a good thing these teams only play once this season. 0-1 pitch, as Nielsen taps that one foul behind home plate, and the count 0-2. So non-conference game here, West Bend-Mallard, member of the Twin Lakes Conference, Bishop Garrigan in the top of Iowa West. Both teams knocking out a couple of conference games already. Both teams going back to conference play tomorrow night, as Cromer able to work ahead of an 0-2 count. Wind down the pitch. In the dirt, advancing to third base is Montag. Throw is high, and it's into left field. Montag gets up. She started to go, but then she holds up as Dickey got to the ball quickly and returns it into the infield. So the Golden Bears have good aggressive base running once again. That ball did not get particularly far away from Benjamin, but Montag read it immediately. She broke when she saw the ball in the dirt. And it's a 1-2 count now on Nielsen. Nobody out, 3-0 Bishop Garrigan. As Cromer laboring through this third inning. The wind and the 1-2 pitch. In the dirt, that is ball 4, and Montag of the late break. She's coming to the home, and she scores. That pitch is in the dirt to even the count 2-2 on Nielsen as Montag comes home from third base. Well, Montag didn't get a great read on that ball at first, but that ball hit the backstop at an odd angle, and it sort of worked its way around the backstop from the third base side to the first base side, and it was almost like the ball was playing keep away from Benjamin, who was chasing after it. Montag saw that going on and eventually did come around to score. Marin now at third base. As that pitch is upstairs into the backstop, Marin will take a look, but she will stay at third. 4-0 now, Bishop Garrigan, and Nielsen has worked the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Marin at third base. The junior Cromer back into her motion. Sails to the backstop as Marin will take a look. Ball kicks up the first base line, and here comes Marin. Nobody covering home plate, and the Golden Bears take a 5-0 lead. That ball kicked way up the first base line. The catcher, Benjamin, left her position to go after it. So did the pitcher, Cromer, and there was nobody at home plate. Marin saw that, and it's 5-0 Golden Bears on a couple of pitches to the backstop this inning. So Marin was hit by a pitch, ends up coming around to score, and now Nielsen aboard via the walk. This inning has more or less been created by some free passes, essentially. A walk to start the inning, then a single by Zoe Montag, then a hit by pitch, then a walk, and there is still no outs. 5-0 Bishop Garrigan, as there will be a conference in the pitching circle right now. A team meeting here for West Bend-Mallard as the entire infield has come in. They're tapping Benjamin on the back and saying, stay with it, you're good. The ball has taken a couple of wild bounces off the backstop there behind home plate, as it's a pretty normal amount of foul territory back there, but a couple of those posts that support the backstop are almost, I don't want to say protruding, but not necessarily protected by the chain link fence. So if it hits one of those posts back there, that ball could kick up the first or third base lines, as it did the past couple of opportunities. Brooklyn Birdie wants to bunt. She missed the bunt. Ball gets away from Benjamin, and jogging up to second base will be Carly Nielsen. That will work better than a bunt for Bishop Garrigan. Runner at second, nobody out, and a 5-0 Golden Bear lead as Birdie with the 0-1 count now after jabbing and missing at that bunt. Wolverines and Golden Bears, first matchup since 2021. Bishop Garrigan 9-2 in their last 11 against West Bend-Mallard. As that pitch is sailed up into the backstop, Nielsen will roll into third base as the ball again kicks up the first base line. But I'll be honest, folks, I haven't been at enough games here at the Wolverines softball diamond to know if that's regular, but that ball is taking some wild bounces off the backstop. That could be a little home field advantage as well. If you're the Wolverines and you're used to that, you may know better how to play it and anticipate it, whereas if any balls get past Trainer here today, look out. Pitch to Birdie, upstairs again as Benjamin leaps out of her stance to snare that ball, and it's a 2-1 count. Well, you just wonder right now if Cromer might be trying to overthrow it a little bit because everything is coming in there high. Cromer wearing the white cleat on her left leg and the red cleat on her other leg as that pitch is upstairs for a ball. And the count now to Birdie, 3 balls and 1 strike. But like we said, that release point may be a little bit off. Maybe trying to overthrow it a little bit, and again, feel a little moist. It is a light drizzle, so it's not too much of an impact, but maybe enough to make the pitcher notice, as that pitch is in the zone, and Birdie had a mighty cut of that one, but came up dry, as the count full now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And even in between pitches, Cromer is in that circle, digging in the foothold a little bit in front of the rubber, making sure the area where she was taking off from was to her liking. 3-2 pitch, upstairs for ball 4, Birdie draws the free pass. And after just 1 walk in the first 2 innings, Cromer has issued 3 walks plus a hit by pitch here to the Golden Bear batters. It's Nielsen at third base, Birdie at first, although we will likely see a courtesy runner come into the ballgame for Bishop Garrigan. Golden Bears are calling on Kate Berkey to bring some of that track and field speed over to the first base bag as Birdie will head to the bench. So Berkey on first base, Bertie back to the dugout for the Golden Bears, and Molly Peterson, who is 0 for 1 with a strikeout, coming to the dish right now. Chance to be a big inning here for Bishop Garrigan. Already 3 runs in, Nobody out and runners at the corners as the Wolverines pinch in at the corner infield. We'll see if and when Berkey will try to make a move at first base. And we'll see if Cromer's able to bring the ball down here and make sure no more wild pitches happen, as Nielsen will wait at the ready at third base. Pitch to Peterson, up high for ball, head level, as jogging up to second base is Berkey. She will go there on indifference, as the Wolverines will not throw through on that. Second and third base, Bishop Garrigan up 5-0 here in the top of the third inning. The motion and the pitch by Cromer. Swing and miss by Peterson. Nice job on that pitch by Cromer. Kept that one down in the zone and got Peterson reaching for it as the count evens, 1 ball and 1 strike. Peterson didn't look like she had a great foothold there in the batter's box in that swing. See if she digs in a little harder there in that clay in the home plate area. 1-1 pitch. Peterson right on that one, fouling it straight back to the screen. Behind in the count 1-2. Outfield relatively deep for Peterson. The left fielder, Dickey, especially, a couple steps deeper than the other 2 outfielders. Landholt, a little bit shallower in right field for West Bend-Mallard. The 1-2 to Peterson. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Cromer gets the K as she fans Peterson for the second time in this game. Third K tonight by Cromer, and runners will stay at second and third for the Golden Bears. Now with 1 out for Shiloh Trainer. Trainer ripped a single down the left field line her last time up. 1 for 1 today for the Bishop Garrigan number 8 hitter. Well, we talk all the time about how young Bishop Garrigan is in the pitching circle, but we forget the youth behind home plate. As Trainer will take that pitch upstairs for a ball, 1-0 count. Trainer, just a sophomore for the Golden Bears, and took over as a starting catcher last year. Didn't get a ton of at-bats, oftentimes as a flex player, as the 1-0 pitch to Trainer, flied in the air down the left field line, curving into foul territory, and Dickey won't be able to get to that one as it drops foul. Count evens at 1-1. But the Golden Bears had one of those seasoned catchers previously. Early in the career of Abby Capacious, she caught, but she was eventually moved to shortstop as Joey Dorning took over as a catcher. Of course, Joey Dorning now the assistant coach for the Golden Bears softball team, but it was a lot of youth behind home plate last year of Trainer, working for the pitcher Ella Schaaf. Now this year you've got the sophomore Trainer, still really getting her feet wet at the varsity level, working with the freshman pitcher Birdie. As Trainer takes that one down and in, pitcher will skip away from Benjamin to the backstop, but no advance made by Nielsen at third base, and it's a 2-1 count. But a lot of great mentorship here for the Golden Bears to really help Trainer out along in her career. Of course, having a former catcher on your coaching staff is always great, and then Abby Capacious is a great mentor in her time as well. As the 2-1 pitch to Trainer, ripped foul off the Wolverine third base dugout. Boy, did Trainer get around on that one. And the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. She ripped the base hit down the left field line her first time up and was well out in front of that one, sending everyone in the third base dugout scattering. It is a drizzly night here in West Bend. The concession stand open out beyond the right field fence, although I think more people are taking shelter there at this point. The wind and the pitch to Trainer. In the dirt, picked out by Benjamin. And the count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Wolverine scoreboard out beyond the right field fence as well. We've got a lone patron sitting underneath that scoreboard, but I don't think that is providing a whole lot of shelter here from what has been a light but persistent drizzle tonight. Cromer with the payoff pitch. Trainer flies that in the air, deep left field. There she goes, and it's gone! It's gone! Shiloh Trainer, 3-run homer for the Golden Bears. How about that? On the full count pitch, she drives one out of here to the left field, and it's 8-0 Bishop Garrigan. Wow! What a way to get your first career home run. Trainer making the most out of that one. And the dugout's not going to give her the silent treatment. Everyone's going to pour out of the dugout to greet Shiloh Trainer after that home run. Still 1 out. Base is now empty as the Golden Bears clear them off with a 3-1 blast. And they have blown it open here in the third inning. A 6-run inning by Bishop Garrigan. They lead it now 8-0. Well, last night against Garner Hayfield Ventura, the Golden Bears scored in all 7 innings. So far tonight, they have scored in 2 out of the 3 innings. As Cromer tries to recollect herself, and all of a sudden the Wolverines here in a tough spot early, down 8-0. Here's Erpeling Wickman, and that pitch zips upstairs for a ball, 1-0 count. Well, if you're the Golden Bears here, just keep knocking away at the ball. Of course, the temptation is you see Trainer do that, and everyone will say, we all want to hit a home run now, but you still have to keep the same approach here against Cromer. That got you to this 8-0 lead in the first place, and that is being patient and really laying off those pitches that are high and out of the zone because Cromer has just struggled to keep the ball down so far tonight. 2-0 count. As Cromer resets here and gets back into the pitching rubber. The 2-0 pitch, and Erpel Wickman pops it straight up. Benjamin out from behind home plate, called off by Cromer, and the ball is out of her glove. The ball is dropped along the first base side as Erpel Wickman will be safe on the air. Well, when it rains, it pours, and it's been that kind of inning for the Wolverines here as the E1 will put Erpel Wickman on base. 1 out, 1 on, back to the top of the order. The only person who has not yet hit this inning, Alyssa Hoagland, will now bat. A walk and a ground to the pitcher so far today for the left-handed hitting junior for Bishop Garrigan. Wind down the pitch, and Hoagland tried to slap bunt that one, but that pitch was down and out of the zone as the count 0-1. That's a tough pitch to try to slap bunt too, even if that's at the knees for a strike. Try to reach down there and flick it to the opposite field. That is not an easy pitch to try to reach. The 0-1 pitch, and Hoagland tries to slap at that one again, but she came up empty, and the count 0-2. That's part of what separates some of the people who are good at slap bunting from the people who are really elite at it at the high school level. Knowing which pitches to go after and which ones to take. Sometimes it's good to take a strike if you can't do what you want with that strike. And I think that's something that young hitters learn over time, but again, you have to experience it in the game. The 0-2 pitch, found back to the screen as Hoagland took a half swing at that one, but just got a piece of it. That pitch did drift a little bit upwards, though, from Cromer. She started down at the knees, and each pitch has gotten successively a little bit higher here against Hoagland. Jenna Peterson waits on deck. 8-0 Golden Bears on the home run by Trainer. As that one is inside, and that drilled Hoagland. And she nearly swung at that one. She was getting ready to swing. In fact, her body was facing frontward, and that ball hit her on the front of the jersey, right where the Bears is written on the front. But she did keep the bat back, so that is a hit by pitch. As Erpel Wickman goes to second base, and Hoagland on at first. Golden Bears want to keep adding on here, still just 1 out. And now back to the middle of the order as Jenna Peterson started everything with a walk, steps in. Peterson loads up, and she'll take that one for a called strike, 0-1. Peterson has a narrow stance in the batter's box, but you watch her front foot. She is ready to explode out of that batting stance and generate some power. And that one is inside as that pitch will generate a hit by pitch, and the bags will be full of Golden Bears here if only 1 out. A couple hit batsmen so far this inning for the Golden Bears as Hoagland has been drilled and Peterson now drilled as well this inning. Marin actually got hit earlier, so that is 3 hit by pitches, and now I think they're going to say Peterson didn't make an attempt to get out of the way of that one. So it looks like they're going to say Peterson did not try to evade that pitch. And it's going to be a 1-1 count here. So that pitch will be a ball. Peterson back into the batter's box. The motion and the pitch. Peterson swinging away and fouling it back to the screen is the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, Peterson starts in that narrow batting stance. Then with that front leg, it's almost like she brings her front leg backwards before bringing it forwards, and that is really generating some torque and some power and just momentum towards the softball. The 1-2 pitch, and that one is inside. Going to third base is Erpel Wickman, and she slides in safely behind the throw. Advancing on the backside of that play, Alyssa Hoagland, as the Golden Bears are able to pull off the double steal. Second and third now for Bishop Garrigan, and Jenna Peterson down in the count, or rather even in the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. That ball skips in, and a nice knockdown by Benjamin that time, lunging over to the glove side and preventing a wild pitch. Count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Peterson, of course, got in on the home run binge earlier this season for Bishop Garrigan. There are 5 different Golden Bears who have gone yards so far this season. So up and down the lineup, you have a bunch of players who can at least have the ability to pop one if the pitcher hangs a pitch. Peterson taking up high, and that'll be ball 4, so she'll get on base anyways after all of that, as the walk will load them back up here with 1 out. Batter now Zoe Montag, as Montag had an RBI single earlier this inning. A ground out to second base back in the first. Left-handed hitting Bishop Garrigan Sr. As the motion and the pitch, that is upstairs for a ball, 1-0 count. Well, the wind has shifted a little bit here in West Bend. Still not much of a breeze here tonight, but you can tell people are out working in the fields as a ripe scent has moved its way towards the softball diamond. The motion and the pitch to Montag. Montag, big cut and a miss. She was faking grand salami right there, but came up empty as the count is even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, you get at least 1 swing like that per at bat. You're up in the count 1-0. You get to go for the home run on 1 pitch. 1-1 count. That'll bend Montag back and make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Even here on this cooler and dreary night in West Bend, this Golden Bear dugout on the first base side has been up and on the fence the whole time. I think that trainer home run really provided a jolt of momentum earlier this inning. The 2-1 pitch. Montag watching, and that is upstairs for a ball. 3-1 count. And here comes Erpeling Wickman. She's going to steal home, and she slides in safely. The Wolverines fell asleep defensively again, and it's 9-0 Bishop Garrigan. It was a delayed steal by Erpeling Wickman. Benjamin never looked at third base when she threw the ball back to the pitching circle, and nobody expected Erpeling Wickman to break from home. As soon as that ball left Benjamin's hand, she swiped home plate, as Cromer couldn't return the ball to home plate in time. What a heads-up play, and it's 9-0 Golden Bears. Bet you folks didn't have that on your bingo card here tonight. What an inning this has been. A Shiloh trainer home run and a steal of home by Lily Erpeling Wickman. 3-1 pitch. Montag, soft liner towards second base, and that one is off the glove of Meyer. It'll squeak through into the shallow outfield. 10-0 Golden Bears. Montag trying to entice a throw back to first base as the Wolverines just want to return the ball to the pitching circle right now. That ball in the direction of Meyer, but just went right underneath the glove there. Well, not one of those tweener balls where it's right at you and you think, should I charge? Should I stay back? What do I do on this play? And just kind of get caught in between as a fielder. 10-0 Bishop Garrigan. It's an 8-run inning as Montag will take second base uncontested. Second and third. Still just one out here in this inning. Pitch to Marin. Marin, line drive, left field line, just foul. That ball was ticketed for the corner, but Marin slightly out in front at the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. It is an 8-run inning here for the Golden Bears. Jenna Peterson, the runner at third base. Zoe Montag, the runner at second. And a 10-0 Bishop Garrigan lead, top half of the third inning. The 1-1. That one is bowled in there, but picked out behind home plate by Benjamin as the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. The Golden Bears trying to win back-to-back games here after starting the week with a conference win over Garter-Havel-Ventura. The 2-1 pitch. Marin watching, that one gets away from Benjamin. Here comes Peterson to the plate, head first slide, and she's in there safely. Boy, that could have been a little dangerous there. Peterson slid head first and late. Her head was getting to home plate right as Cromer's right knee was getting there, and that was almost helmet-on-knee contact, but fortunately, Peterson came just a little bit short of that. It was just a little light tap on the knee as Cromer will readjust the jersey pants after that. So a wild pitch brings home the run, and Montag up to third base. 11-0 Bishop Garrigan as Marin will call time at home plate. Marin is the 12th batter to hit this inning for the Golden Bears as the junior Cromer works with a 3-1 count. Marin, a high pop foul curving out of play over to our left side right behind us. That is out onto the street somewhere. Like I said, this ballpark is bordered by streets. You have a little used street over to the right side behind the first base dugout, and then a street that leads to the high school here right behind us. So cars driving by may see a foul pop-up coming their way at some point if you're passing by on this street. The 3-2 pitch. Marin watches for ball 4. It's a walk for Hannah Marin, but judging by the body language, I think she was wishing that one was a little more in the zone so she could pull the trigger. And now Marin's running to second base. Wolverines thought time was called, but there was no time on the play, and Marin just ran to second base with the defense not looking. So Golden Bears have run the bases extremely aggressively this inning, and the Wolverines are just not getting in position defensively. You have to know the play is not over until the umpire says it's over. Nobody was covering second, and Marin took advantage. Called strike to Nielsen. Down low, but called the strike as the count 0-1. Just 1 out, and 11-0 Bishop Garrigan lead. Nielsen flies it foul out of play first base side, and the Bishop Garrigan bus protected by the tree right there. That was heading right for the front windshield of the bus, but the school avoids a bill to replace that as the tree is able to catch the ball first, which I assume is why they parked back there. 0-2 pitch to Nielsen. Roller towards the right side of the infield. That one squeaks through to center field for a base hit. Here comes Montag. Here comes Marin. 13-0 Bishop Garrigan. A seeing eye single that time, as that was just a slow grounder up the middle by Carly Nielsen, but the ball had eyes of its own. It snuck through into center field, and the Golden Bears continue to onslaught this inning. 13-0 advantage, and what a feast this week for the Bishop Garrigan offense. 18 runs yesterday, 13 today. Brooklyn Birdie will watch the first pitch downstairs off the glove of Benjamin, and cruising into second base is Nielsen. Well, as we mentioned, offense has not been the issue this season, but boy, how big of this how big of a relaxing factor is this for Brooklyn Birdie? When she steps back into the pitching circle, whenever that is, she will be a worry-free pitcher and very relaxed as Birdie flares that foul first base side. Ooh, Garrigan fans ducking for cover there instead of going after the ball. A couple of the Garrigan students had a chance to make a play on that one, but they cowered away from the foul ball, unfortunately. You hate to see that. Coach Purdy will be talking to them in between innings, and they will be taking some extra infield, as that is popped foul back behind home plate. Even though they're not on the softball team, everyone has time for fundamentals as the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Birdie batting, Peterson on deck. Birdie has struck out and walked so far in this ball game. The runner at second base is Nielsen. 11 runs this frame by Bishop Garrigan. The motion and the 1-2 pitch by Cromer. Wave and a miss for strike 3. Cromer pulled the string on Birdie that time, and Birdie down for the second out of the inning. Cromer now 4 strikeouts. The batter, Molly Peterson, who has been the one Golden Bear not to reach base in this game. Cromer has gotten the best of Peterson with a couple of strikeouts so far in this one. Peterson, right-handed hitting senior. A little bit more towards the back of the box this at bat as she flies it in the air, middle of the infield. Moving over is the second baseman, and a leaping grab by Meyer. Boy, that one turned into a little bit of an adventure there as Meyer almost didn't get close enough to the ball, but was able to reach out at the last minute and catch the pop-up from Peterson. But the Golden Bears plate 11 runs. They blow this game wide open. Score now 13-0, moving to the bottom of third on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algodo Radio YouTube channel.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Molly Peterson, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Softball on KLGA.
Well, a dramatic change in this ballgame as Bishop Garrigan scores 11 runs in the top of the third inning. They lead West Bend-Mallard now 13-0 on Hometown Radio KLGA. So we move to the bottom of the third. Wolverines of 8, 9, and 1 in the batting order. McKenna Cromer, Olivia Dickey, and Layla Cromer all due to bat against Brooklyn Birdie, who now has the weight of the world off her shoulders in the pitching circle. She can be aggressive here and just work on her stuff and try to attack. Now the Golden Bear offense has exploded for a cornucopia of runs. The motion and the pitch by Birdie. And that one is rolled in the dirt. That one almost rolled right into the legs of McKenna Cromer, but that'll be ball 1. Cromer has started in 1 game so far this season, was 0 for 3 in that one. The freshman infielder, designated player tonight, as the 1-0 pitch to Cromer. Cromer ground ball towards shortstop. 1 hop to Erpeling-Wickman, guns to first base. Low throw, but Montag able to scoop it out, as that'll go for out number 1 of the inning. So 1 up, 1 down to start the frame for the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines. The second assist by Erpeling-Wickman so far in this ball game as Olivia Dickey, the left fielder, will stand in. Dickey had the lone hit for the Wolverines yesterday in that 6-1 loss to Storm Lake St. Mary's. A triple, as Dickey has 2 hits in 9 at-bats this season. Dickey first pitch swinging, pulled the head out and chased after a pitch that was down in the dirt, and the count 0-1. Right-handed hitting freshman. A lot of freshmen, sophomores, and even 8th graders up and down that Wolverine lineup with a junior or 2 mixed in. Ground ball towards third base, and that'll squeak by the diving Marin into left field for a base hit. Dickey is able to split the gap in between third base and shortstop, and the Wolverines have their second hit of the ball game as Dickey reaches with 1 away. We'll remind you folks, coming up tomorrow night, we'll be covering Bishop Garrigan baseball as they will take on North Union from the Bishop Garrigan High School Baseball Diamond at 7:30. Same place, same time as usual. 7:25 our broadcast time on 92.7 KLGA as the pitch is in the dirt. Trainer able to knock it down and no advance by Dickey as she will stay at first base. Layla Cromer 1 for 1 off a single so far today. That was her 3rd hit of the season as she stands in 1 for 1. Emotion and the 1-0 pitch. Hard ground ball towards shortstop. Erpeling-Wickman gloves it. Flips the second for 1. Peterson the relay and not quite in time for the double play as Cromer hustles down there and beats the play out. A fielder's choice. Now 2 away as Dickey, the lead runner, retired at second. Cromer safe at first base. So 2 away, Avery Weidert, The shortstop, a strikeout victim her first time up against Birdie. 0 for 1 here tonight. The motion and the pitch by Birdie. Upstairs for a ball. Trainer looks to first base, but nothing doing there as the count 1 ball and no strikes. Well, I've got to wonder here. Like I said tonight, it's a sparse crowd, and the fans we do have sat in the back of their car to protect themselves from the rain. Even though the rain droplets have stopped here, but it was raining earlier this one. It's been a quiet night over the concession stand. I wonder if they're going to have some leftovers for everyone to raid after the game. Weidert awaits the 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. That concession stand is out there in foul territory, so if you pull that out beyond the ballpark to right field, you could hit the concession stand, but it would be a foul ball unless you had some crazy English to bend it around that foul pole. Wave and a miss by Weidert, and the count evens 2 balls and 2 strikes. If I was a left-handed batter tonight, I'd almost try to pull one foul, see if I could put one in the concession stand, see if you could hit one into the deep fryer. The 2-2 pitch in the dirt as Weidert watches it, and the count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Morgan Meyer due up next for West Bend-Mallard. 13-0 Bishop Garrigan. Bottom half of 3 on Hometown Radio, KLGA Algona. The payoff pitch. Down and in for ball 4. Cromer up to second base, and Weidert aboard via the walk by Birdie. And it'll be 2 outs, 2 on for the Wolverines. As Morgan Meyer now bats. Meyer grounding at second base her first time around tonight. 0 for 1. 13 runs here tonight by Bishop Garrigan. And they've had double-digit games plenty of times this season. Season opening 15-10 loss against Belmont Clemmy was a double-digit game. As that pitch will be a little bit in off the plate for a ball, 1-0 count. Also had that 17-5 win over Lake Mills and the 18-14 win over Garter Hayford Ventura. You'd like to think the Golden Bears wouldn't have to score double digits all the time to win, but that's been an early trend developing. As there's a little blooper, shallow right field, charging in is Peterson, but it drops in front of her. And Wolverines are caught up in the base paths, throw to home plate on one hop, and this is going to be a pickle. Dickey gets caught. Golden Bears almost ran her right to home plate. Now Dickey going back to third base. The slide, the tag, and she is tagged out by Erpeling Wickman. She is tagged out by Lillian Erpeling Wickman, and the Wolverines with a mistake on the base paths. Although now the umpires are going to discuss. I wonder if Erpeling Wickman may have interfered with the runner there. She was standing in her way. They're going to call obstruction. Safe at third base, so the bags will be full of Wolverines. Erpeling Wickman obstructed the runner's path back to third. Well, that was really not a good play all around, and here's why, folks. That was a blooper into shallow right field. There are 2 outs. You've got to be running on contact there. I don't think Cromer knew how many outs there were. It was Cromer, by the way, not Dickey, who got caught in between the bases, but Cromer acted as if there was only 1 out as she stayed at second, then probably just should have stopped at third base initially, but tried to make up for the base running mistake by coming home. The throw was in plenty of time. She ran back to third, and then the Golden Bears almost messed up that rundown because they did not run Cromer back to third base. They only ran her a couple steps away from home before throwing back to third, and Cromer nearly turned around and got back to home plate. If it wasn't for a good throw to home, Cromer would have scored. And then, of course, going back to third, she was obstructed by Erpeling Wickman. So all the coaches are saying, let's work on that. The Wolverine coaches are saying, let's work on knowing the situation. And the Golden Bear coaches are saying, let's do a little better job of running the runner back to the base they came from. There's a high pitch to the backstop. Here comes Cromer, and she scampers home. Ball kicks way up the first baseline again, as the Wolverines are on the board, and it's 13-1. So all of that is now a moot point as the run comes home to score, and it's a 13-1 ball game. But those are the things a lot of the focus goes to the amount of runs the pitchers have allowed for Bishop Garrigan, and certainly there have been some games where the Golden Bears have just been outscored this year, but defensively, those are the small things. You have to be a little bit sharper. 3-0 count into the batter's box. Bollig taking, and that one is going to be outside for ball 4. Hesitant discarding of the bat there for Bollig, but the bases are reloaded for the Wolverines. Well, the good thing here for West Bend-Mallard, they are fighting back and having quality at-bats against Birdie. It would be easy to say 13-0, the game's over. We're all just swinging at the first pitch and rolling over here, but the Wolverines are seeing pitches and taking decent swings here the second time through against Birdie, as taking downstairs for a ball is Leah Hoffman. Hoffman 0 for 1 off a strikeout. Outfield straight up for the Golden Bears. 2 outs, bags full of Wolverines right now with a 13-1 score. 1-0 pitch by Birdie. Slow tapper back towards the circle, charged at third by Marin. Marin guns across the first, and it's in time for the out. Senior to senior connection right there. The sure-handed Marin to the sure-handed Montag, and the Wolverines will leave them loaded. West Bend-Mallard does get on the scoreboard, but the score right now, 13-1 Bishop Garrigan on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Signworks Inc. For all your signage needs and printed apparel, stop in or call 295-9544.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
All sponsors of this game broadcast. High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
American Glass. For all your glass needs, think American.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch, Daniel Foth, and Michael Tull.
Chemco Tires. They're all you need to know about tires and service.
Wykirk Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Grassmasters. Growing satisfied customers.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
Glenn's Green Thumb. From a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Bishop Garrigan 13 and West Bend-Mallard 1, entering the top of the fourth on Hometown Radio KLGA. There was a long conference with the whole team in front of the Bishop Garrigan dugout in between innings, as I think even with the score 13-1, Coach Purdy telling the team to sharpen up a little bit, as the Golden Bears will face Layla Cromer once again. Golden Bears sending 15 batters to the plate during that 11-run third inning as they now grab the sixth once more. Shiloh Trainer, home run hero from the previous inning, is jogging up to the plate now after grabbing the bat. Trainer with that first career home run, a 3-run blast to left field here at West Bend-Mallard High School, out over towards the parking lot where, like we said, a few of the fans had a front row vantage point of that homer. Trainer 2 for 2 with a single on that 3-run jack. First pitch, Trainer taking that one is in there for a called strike, 0-1. And we'll see the approach this time. Like I said, do you get greedy here and go for another home run, or do you see the same normal approach you take, and if it turns into a home run, that's a bonus. 0-1 pitch. Trainer watching that one upstairs for a ball as the count evens 1-1. Golden Bears trying to even the record at 3-3. West Bend-Mallard trying to get even here at 2-2, but Wolverines find themselves down 13-1 right now. Cromer of the motion, and at the 1-1 pitch. Trainer watching, and that one is up above the letters for a ball. 2-1 count. Well, fortunately for the players, the drizzle has stopped. Everyone was still hanging out either in the bus or in the dugouts when we first got here tonight to get it set up about an hour before the game. As Trainer, little flare towards left field, and a leaping grab at shortstop by Weidert. What a grab at short by Avery Weidert. That ball seemed ticketed for shallow left field, but on the soft liner, Weidert took 1 or 2 steps back. Almost looked like she was going to get caught in the mud there and maybe not take enough steps back, but she leaped at the last minute, timed the jump perfectly, and made the grab for out number 1 of the inning. But everyone emerged late. They had to warm up in the rain tonight. As there's a ground ball towards shortstop. Weidert charges, she gloves, she throws in time for the out. 2 up, 2 down, and Weidert flashing the letter here to start the 4th inning. As Erpeling-Wickman put down there on the first pitch. But now the rain has stopped after everyone got sufficiently damp here. I wouldn't say soaked, but everyone just got a little bit damp there playing out in the field. And now we play here on just a cloudy night, as Alyssa Hoagland waves and misses at that offering for strike 1. Hoagland has walked into hit by a pitch today, although she's had a lot of trouble executing that slap bunt here against Cromer. 0-1 pitch. Called strike at the knees as Hoagland was not in agreement, but the count will be 0-2. And sometimes there are just pitchers where, as a batter, you have trouble picking up the ball, or it just looks funny coming out of their hand, and it's different for each batter. As there's a tapper towards third base. Cromer tried to pick that one up, and she bobbled it, and Hoagland's going to be safe at first. That was one of those desperation plays for the Wolverines. Hoffman at third base is charging in. Even if Hoffman grabs that one, Hoagland's got enough speed where she's probably safe at first, but that's one of those plays where you'd like to see the third baseman take charge of that rather than the pitcher, because for the pitcher, your momentum is taking you towards the third base dugouts, away from first base where the throw needs to go, whereas the third baseman, you're charging in and you have momentum to get a stronger throw. Peterson, little pop-up back to the circle, charging in Cromer, and she makes the catch. So the Golden Bears will strand a runner at first base, as Hoagland Stranded at first, and Peterson retired on the pop-out. Golden Bears do not score. Score stays 13-1. We will move to the bottom half of the fourth from West Bend-Mallard High School and on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at moneypass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC. For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa bone, joint, and sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Hannah Marin, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Softball on KLGA.
Well, in between innings here in West Bend, the Golden Bears pulling the old rope-a-dope on us. Hannah Marin was standing in the pitching circle for a long time there in between innings, and it looked like the senior was maybe going to get her first chance at pitching, but she was just keeping the seat warm for 8th grader Akai Nielsen, who enters the game as the new pitcher for Bishop Garrigan. Brooklyn Birdie throws 3 innings tonight, and Nielsen takes over for the Golden Bears. I will say, though, in a 13-1 game, it would be very interesting to see a senior like Marin get that first pitching opportunity, but that will have to wait for another night, as the Wolverines will send Reese Benjamin, Faith Landholt, and McKenna Cromer to the plate this inning, hitters number 6, 7, and 8. Now, this is a 12-run game right now, so the Wolverines do need to score here this inning to continue the ball game. Defensively, the Golden Bears had made some changes. Carly Nielsen now at shortstop, Lily Erpeling-Wickman behind home plate, and Brooklyn Birdie in left field. So those have been the changes for the Golden Bears up to this point, as Bishop Garrigan on top right now, 13-1 over West Bend-Mallard. I believe that is Bree Ludwig now in right field, squinting there through the long view here to see that jersey, but we'll get confirmation on that later on. That is not Jenna Peterson, though, I can tell you that. So there have been a lot of changes here for the Golden Bears, and the home plate umpire going over them with West Bend head coach Tabitha Mogler. But once you put a new pitcher into the ball game, the wheels really start turning, and good to get Nielsen some innings here tonight. Birdie got the Golden Bears through 3. Did have a little traffic on the base paths at times against the Wolverines. In fact, bases got loaded there in the 3rd inning when the Wolverines scored 1 run, but Birdie able to minimize the damage during that frame. And keeping it here to a 13-1 lead, as Nielsen will get a little work as well for the Golden Bears. And as a team, you're looking to see incremental steps forward from the pitching. Like we said, these two had a lot of pressure coming into the season. A long season pitcher like Ella Schaaf graduating, and that means that you have new faces who have thrown very few varsity innings, so that's a little pressure, and those nerves can get to you early in the season, but the more you pitch, probably the less nervous you get for each varsity outing, and that's what you hope to see from Brooklyn Birdie and Rakai Nielsen, that just the confidence grows, and they start to be comfortable with what their strengths and weaknesses are in the pitching circle, and they learn how to deploy that effectively. This is a long break here because there are a lot of changes for the Golden Bears as they continue to go over each and every one here in front of the third base dugout right down beneath us. But it is a calm and quiet night here in West Bend, Iowa. In fact, over in Gilmore City, I would imagine the boys are just getting ready to go here between Bishop Garrigan and West Bend-Mallard. Gilmore City, home of that purple monster out in left field. If you haven't seen it, folks, hustle over to Gilmore City and get there in time for that game as the Golden Bears take on the Wolverines in high school baseball, a rematch of the second round of last year's playoffs. I'll tell you this, Gilmore City may be the home of the purple monster, but it's also the home of flies galore. I remember last time I did a game there, Tyler Lance was on the menu that night, and the Flies had a feast waiting for them. Rakaya Nielsen getting ready to go back to work here with a 13-1 lead as she takes over for Brooklyn Birdie for the Golden Bears. As we said, it's Benjamin, Landholt, and Cromer this inning, as Benjamin was a pop-out victim to second base her last time up. Reese Benjamin awaits the pitch from Nielsen, and Nielsen missing down in the dirt for ball 1. Well, Erpeling-Wickman behind home plate as well. That's another thing interesting to see for the Golden Bears. We always knew that she was someone who had the ability to catch, but You like her defense at shortstop as well. Kind of that Abby Capacious conundrum where Capacious was a good catcher early in her career, but eventually the Golden Bears moved her to shortstop because they said, well, we also have a good catcher of Joey Dorning, and Capacious's defense up the middle will be very beneficial. So it's a somewhat same if toned down story for Erpeling Wickman. Any Golden Bear player will tell you they've got a long way to go to match Abby Capacious's career, but position-wise, it's something that really translates. It's a 3-0 count here from Rakaya Nielsen. But more versatility is always good. I've never heard a softball coach say, I really wish my players were less versatile. 3-0 pitch, and called strike. Nielsen getting the benefit of a low call that time as the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. The home plate umpire also saying it's a 13-1 game right now. Nielsen right foot back aboard the rubber. The 3-1 pitch, tapped foul by Benjamin, and the count goes full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. It has just been Nielsen and Birdie. They've gotten all the innings pitched for the Golden Bears this year, and it'll be interesting to see if that continues going forward. Of course, Alyssa Hoagland out there in center field has had the pitching experience in the past at the JV level. 3-2 pitch, tapper foul by Benjamin, third base side, and we'll do it again at 3-2. But the problem is, and it was something that I talked about with Coach Purdy before the season, would Hoagland be capable of pitching if you brought her in? Of course, but you lose her defense in center field if you do that, so that is a question for the Golden Bears. Ground ball towards shortstop. Nielsen backs up a step. She cradles the ball in her gut. She throws to first, and a big stretch by Montag for the out. Kind of an odd-looking play at the time as the ball crawled up the arm of Nielsen and right into her gut. But she held onto it for dear life, somehow got the ball out and to first base in time to beat Benjamin for out number 1 of the inning. Well, back to that pitching point for the Golden Bears. You're thinking long-term as well. Hoagland, of course, a junior, so one of the more experienced players on this team, and you know she's not going to be around forever. But what you do know is, what you hope anyways, if Nielsen and Birdie stay on for softball, they're going to be out for a long time, with Birdie being just a freshman and Nielsen an 8th grader. So you really want those two to really get a ton of innings this season and improve their game, as there's a swing and a miss by Landholt to even the count at 1-1. Landholt, a ground at the shortstop her last time up, choked way up on the bat, as she will watch that one go at the knees for a called strike. 1-2 here from Nielsen. 13-1 Golden Bears in this softball matchup on Hometown Radio KLGA, leading West Bend-Mallard. 1-2 pitch, up at eye level for a ball, and the count evens 2 balls and 2 strikes as Nielsen tries to work into a good rhythm. She will adjust the dirt around the pitching rubber and try to lessen the hole that's developed over there. 2-2 pitch, and that one is downstairs just above the ankles, and the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. McKenna Cromer due up next, and Olivia Dickey in the hole for West Bend-Mallard as the Wolverines take on Newell Fonda tomorrow night. And that pitch a little bit upstairs for ball 4, so Nielsen got the low strike, but you can't have it both ways. A lot of times you get that low strike, you're not getting the high strike, and Landholt draws the 1-out walk. Runner on first base, 1 away here in the bottom half of the 4th inning as McKenna Cromer, grounding out the shortstop, her first time up, stands in. Cromer, first pitch swinging, and tardy on that high offering there from Nielsen as the count goes to 0-1. Newell Fonda entered the softball season ranked number 3 in Class 1A, and they are the early favorite in the Twin Lakes Conference. There's a fly ball towards right field, moving over is Ludwig, and Bree Ludwig pulls it down for the out. The Golden Bear dugout loves that. The biggest cheers always come when the reserves get in the ball game and make a good play. That applies in the basketball court and on the softball diamond as well, as the dugout is still roaring for Bree Ludwig right now. I think they're cheering more for Bree Ludwig than they were for Shiloh Trainer when she hit that 3-run homer earlier in the ball game. You'll love to see that, folks. 2 outs, runner at first base. Batter for the Wolverines is Olivia Dickey. Dickey first pitch swinging, and a big cut the miss as she pulled the head out that time. Count goes to 0 balls and 1 strike here against Nielsen. If Dickey gets on, it's back to the top of the order of Cromer. Nielsen into the motion, and the 0-1 pitch. Dickey way out in front of that one, just nubbed it off the end of the bat foul. Behind home plate, and she's behind in the count, 0-2. A 12-run lead right now for the Bishop Garrigan softball team, trying to even their early season record at 3-3, and then get ready to take on Ainsley Ulrich and the North Union Warriors tomorrow night. 0-2 pitch. Oh, what a changeup! A called strike 3! A nasty offering by Rakaya Nielsen. What a nasty pitch that time to end the inning as Dickey is retired looking. 13-1 Golden Bears, as they will take this one tonight over the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines and even the record at 3-3. Wolverines will drop this one, their third loss in a row, as they will fall to 1-3 on the season. We'll step aside for a timeout and come back to wrap this one up next from West Bend-Mallard High School and on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Down to Earth Tree Service, your local Algona Tree Service.
Styles Salon, your salon in Algona. Create yourself.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic, animals large and small. They love them all.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance. Visit their studio or danceconnectionbymichelle.com.
All bringing you this ball game.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Good Samaritan Society, Algona's senior housing and services rooted in God's love.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, Algona's locally owned coffee shop.
Tangle Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Schindler Lawn Care and Landscaping, 515-320-3840.
All bringing you this ball game.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
Farmers State Bank is proud to be part of our community. Offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Bill's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oak Crest Funeral Services, celebrating a life lived.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bankin at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
More sports club members.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for health care.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Sway City, and surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy services.
Reeves Wicked Good Bar and Grill, for wicked good food, drinks, and service, you gotta go to Reeves.
High Point Land Company, your trusted land partner in Algona.
All bringing you this game on the radio. When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at moneypass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
Hey Golden Bear fans, this is Coach Purdy, and you're listening to Bishop Garrigan Softball on KLGA.
Back here at the West Bend-Mallard Softball Diamond, where tonight the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears roll to a 13-1 victory over the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines on Hometown Radio, KLGA, and at the Algona Radio YouTube live stream. Our video stream is brought to you by Chemna Auto Center, where it's not just about the car, it's about the care. Algona Municipal Utilities, community-owned for community benefit. Iowa State Bank, helping people succeed. Algona Frame and Auto Body, We Meet by Accident, and PMC Advantage Insurance Services. Having the advantage makes all the difference. Again, the final score in this one under Greg Penning and Company Certified Public Accountant Scoreboard, 13-1 in favor of Bishop Garrigan. The Golden Bears get the win here tonight in West Bend, and they even the record at 3-3. The Wolverines will drop their third game in a row. They will fall to 1-3 here on this young season. Some unofficial numbers for tonight's game, and again, all final numbers are unofficial. Bishop Garrigan tonight, 13 runs on 6 hits as they left 4 on base, and they did not commit any errors in this ball game. West Bend-Mallard, I had them down for 1 run on 3 hits, committed 3 errors, and left 5 on base for the game tonight. Bishop Garrigan split their pitching once again as Brooklyn Birdie got the win. She went the first 3 innings in this ball game as Birdie allowed 2 walks and 2 strikeouts, only gave up the one hit there for the Wolverines and allowed one run for West Bend-Mallard as well, as she gets the win in this one. Rakai Nielsen pitched the last inning, striking out one batter and walking one batter, and again, just pitching that final inning of scoreless softball for the Golden Bears. Offensively, though, it was a big night for Bishop Garrigan. They started things off with 2 runs in the first inning, and then the 11-run third inning erased all doubt in this one. Golden Bears took a 13-0 lead and eventually went on to win by a final count of 13-1, but that was an inning where 15 batters were sent to the plate. Everyone hit. There were a lot of walks mixed in as well, and that's part of the thing if you're Bishop Garrigan. You see an opposing pitcher struggling to control the ball, and you don't chase their offerings. You let them pitch out of the zone. If they come to you, you take a big swing, and that's exactly what Shiloh Trainer did in that inning with a 3-run home run. Her first career bomb of the game, certainly the highlight of tonight for Bishop Garrigan, but really a patient approach up and down the lineup. When Bishop Garrigan had opportunities to swing the bat, they did, and they did damage against Cromer, but they were able to be patient and work a lot of walks as well. And again, a lot of the experience of the Wolverines showed here tonight as well, just defensively, a couple untimely mistakes, and that's part of being a young team. A lot of times the thing that comes last as far as improvement is concerned is defense, and that's the thing that no one likes to work on. Everyone's like, oh man, we've got to take infield and outfield. What about batting practice? What about pitching practice? But a lot of times, and even Bishop Garrigan has seen this as well at times, the defense is kind of the last thing to come along and really lock in. So we just saw a few balls that got misplayed tonight by the Wolverines, and the kind of things that a young team of inexperience may have happened to them at times throughout the course of the season. So just one of those nights for the Wolverines again. They're a young team. They're going to take a few losses like this throughout the course of the season, but much like Bishop Garrigan, we talk about the pitching improving throughout the course of the year of how young that is. You hope if you're a West Bend-Mallard fan that, this team will take lessons from nights like tonight, and they'll slowly improve throughout the season. By the end of the year, they'll be playing a little more competitive softball, but tonight they were outmatched by the Golden Bears for a 13-1 final score. We're going to take one more final time out, folks. Sometimes we'll get a player up here for a post-game interview. Not sure if the players will just end up getting out of here quickly or not tonight, but we're going to give it a couple minutes, see if anyone comes up, and if not, we'll come back and wrap it up. I'll take one more final time out right here on 92.7 KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream, back after these messages.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
Farmers State Bank is proud to be part of our community. Offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oakcrest Funeral Services, celebrating a life lived.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio. For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa bone, joint, and sports surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. When you come in, your family.
Farmers State Bank is proud to be part of our community. Offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Phil's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Oakcrest Funeral Services, celebrating a life lived.
All bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bacon at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game.
Runkey Brothers Full Service. Experience the Runkey Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
Hy-Vee. Use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East in Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprises. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Erpelding Void & Company CPAs. They're not just about taxes.
Sports club members bringing you this game.
As we welcome back here on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Alberta Radio YouTube stream. I think for tonight, Bishop Garrigan has decided to get out of here. It's a wet night, it's kind of a damp night, and just maybe not the most pleasant evening weather-wise here tonight. And with a quick 4-inning game, you want to get out of here early and get ready for tomorrow night as the Golden Bears take on North Union and face one of the best pitchers in this area and really one of the best overall athletes in this area, Ainsley Ulrich of the North Union Warriors. So the Golden Bears win this 1 tonight, 13-1 over the West Bend-Mallard Wolverines. Bishop Garrigan will improve their record to 3-3 on the season. The Wolverines will drop to 1-3. As we said, the Wolverines tomorrow night, not going to get a whole lot easier as they'll take on state-ranked Newell Fonda, perennially a really good softball team tomorrow night here in West Bend. Meanwhile, Bishop Garrigan, they will take on North Union at 6 o'clock as Ainsley Ulrich has the Warriors off to a 4-0 start to the season, and we'll see what happens with them tonight in their ball game. But in any case, that's what Bishop Garrigan has going on tomorrow. As far as us, we are going to have the baseball game tomorrow night for you folks. Bishop Garrigan taking on North Union on the baseball diamond as our coverage will begin at 7:25 on 92.7 KLGA and at the Alberta Radio YouTube stream. Golden Bears and the Warriors for the first time this season, hosted by Bishop Garrigan, so tune in for that tomorrow night. We will wrap it up. Once again, a big thank you to all our sports club members making this broadcast possible, video streaming sponsors as well, and of course to all of our great listeners. This has been a sports production of Hometown Radio KLGA and the Alberta Radio YouTube stream. Your final score in this one, Bishop Garrigan 13 and West Bend-Mallard 1.